Well, that was a fucking blast from the past. I kind of hate that like the main menu has no sound. Why is there no sound? Yeah, why does it have no sound? That's weird. Does it have sound in general for stuff, or? Yeah, why is there no music for anything? Yeah, it's supposed to have music, ain't it? Why is this? I have no clue what's going on. I'm gonna try restarting it just in case. There you go, that's something. I guess they just didn't want to have music the first time for some reason. That's very weird. Sure, it's peculiar, and I don't know what's going on. Alright, hey everybody, Rebellion here, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses. I'll still upon you the gift of a player, the gift for playing this game that I like. I have no idea what that is you just sent me, Azomagia. I'll write it down, but I have no idea what that is. Let me make note of that. And hey everybody, Rebellion here, Duelist of the Roses. We just beat Forbidden Memories, and I figured there's another game, another Yu-Gi-Oh game that I never beat as a kid. And I remember liking it. And it's sort of weird in the sense of it has a space in my mind that I confuse it so much with Dungeon Dice Monsters. And just as a rule of a point right here, I actually own the physical copy of Dungeon Dice Monsters. I don't know what happened to it. Probably my mom still has it like in some box somewhere, but I remember having that. And because of that, like that game, I got this game, and I got the cards that came with it. I remember it being so unlike any other Yu-Gi-Oh game I've played. It was just really weird. Like, I swear it was tactics-based, but I don't know to what extent. So, having just finished Forbidden Memories, apparently this is what's called Forbidden Memories 2 in some place, so it seems logical to go for the next one. If only for more of this whole test of what I should be, how long can I stream? What can I do? How stable is it? And all that stuff. So let's try a new game. The British Empire in the 1480s. The War of the Roses, a power struggle between the houses of Lancaster, Red Rose, and York, White Rose, to decide a royal successor was nearing an end. With the Yorkshirist well in the lead, the reign of Richard III was but a step away. Really, Haitian? And in France, Yugi, Henry Tudor, the last Lancaster heir, was being forced to live a life of exile. The Lancasterian forces were rendered powerless by ancient cards of sorcery wielded by Seto, quote-unquote, and his 7 followers who known as the Rose Crusaders, served under the flag of Lord Crawford, a powerful Yorkist nobleman. Lacking a duelist to champion their cause, defeat was imminent for the Lancasterians. In England, dual card games were still at the fledgling stage. Thus, the Lancasterians had to look elsewhere for a duel master capable of facing the Rosencrews in battle. With this in mind, Margaret Mai Beaufort of Lancaster secretly requested a high druid to summon a duelist from another age. What the fuck have I walked into? Oh, Simon! What up, my boy? You're back! Summoned from the mystic circle of red and white roses, the one capable of harnessing pure power. There was truth to the legend of the Rose Duelist. Lady Margaret, I did it. Now we have the means for defeating the evil forces of Rosencrews. Something. Oh, my apologies. In my experiment, I'd forgotten I was in the presence of the Rose Duelist. I want to introduce myself. I am Simon McMorrin, High Druid and Servant of Lancaster. May I be so bold as to ask the name by which the Rose Duelist would like to be known? Forbidden Memories was Reb, so I feel like we have to continue with Reb. Can I determine the starting deck? That's fucking weird. Reb, a fine name indeed. Now here's the situation. The year is 1485, and you are currently in Stonehenge, near Salisbury, England. The British Empire is in turmoil with the House of Lancaster's rightful claim to the throne being challenged by the Yorkshirist usurpers. The power struggle is referred to as the War of the Roses, a name based on the badges used by both sides. A red rose for the Lancasterians and a white rose for the Yorkshirists. Was this actually called the War of the Roses at the time of the War of the Roses? At least in my experience, a lot of conflicts do not get a dubbed name until after it's concluded or very near its conclusion. So would they actually be using the term War of the Roses? Right now, our kingdom is threatened by the Yorkshirists and their wrongful claim to the throne. All because the Yorkshirists enjoy the support of the Rose Crusaders and their sorcerers White Rose cards. Using our Red Rose cards, we summoned you, Rep, to this day and age. We hope that your dueling experience would defeat the Rose Crusaders and lead us to victory. You will help us? Of course you will. Foolish of me to even doubt where your loyalties lie. Rumor has it that only the legendary Rose Duelists stand the chance against the power of Rosencrews. We appreciate any help you can provide against them. Before I forget, I should warn you that the rules for dueling differ here from those of your age. Here in England, dueling is governed by what is known as the quote-unquote perfect rule. In addition to serving several minor distinctions, there are two major differences. One is the extent of movement or positioning. The other is the deck leader's concept. Wait, deck leader? There are two aspects of dueling that were lost in the process when the ancient sport of Duel Monsters was adopted to card form. The perfect rule represents these lost rules that were miraculously revealed or revived here in England. Perhaps a practical duel will serve better than an explanation, shall we? Sure. Let me experience what the hell is going on. Let's start with the basics of dueling. First, let me show you how to summon a monster. To bring a monster into play, you must first summon it from your hand to the field. Now let's draw the cards from your deck. I drew a Dark Magician, or... Currently the card you're indicating is your deck leader, the Dark Magician. Let's order your deck leader to operate your hand. What kind of extended process is this for me to put cards in my hand? You can do this by selecting your deck leader and pressing the square button. See the blue squares? That's the area where you can place your summon monster. Let's place the monsters in a position directly in front of your card leader. Line up the cursor by pressing the up directional button and press the X button. It's not then press the X button. This is your current hands. Apparently, there's only one monster in your hand that can be summoned to the fields. This is because summoning a monster requires a certain amount of power. Not currently indicated is where your current availability summoning power is displayed. Just at the start of a duel, you have 4 summoning power points. This amount will increase by 3 every turn, and you can accumulate up to a maximum of 12. When a monster is placed on the field, summoning power points equals to their monster's level are expended. Your current summoning power points total is 4. Still Celtic Guardian. Hence, the only monster card you can summon to the field is a level 4 monster, the Celtic Guardian. Yep, Team Eradicate, we beat him from memories, and we're now on Duels of the Roses. The dark cards are the monster that you are unable to summon this turn. Now, let's summon the Celtic Guardian. First, move the cursor over to the Celtic Guardian. That's not me, but oh well. Press the X button. That's fun. If you wish to cancel your selection, press the O button. Is this freaking Hearthstone Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't know. I don't think so. To enter your selection, press the X button once again. You've now summoned the Celtic Guardian, and the card is ready for battle. Now let's attack your opponent with Celtic Guardian. To control a monster on the field, you must first activate the card you wish to move. Blue Eyes White Dragon. This Blue Eyes White Dragon is your opponent's leader. Let's try to attack it with. Let's attack the enemy leader. First, activate your monster by lining the cursor over the desired card and pressing the X button. See the yellow square? This indicates the space where your monster can be moved to this turn. Your opponent's card leader is directly ahead. Let's move straight into space. To move your monster, you must select your destination with the cursor and press X button. The Celtic Guardian advances 1 space, completing its move for its turn. Monster can only move once per turn. However, a Dex leader summoning does not count as a move. Hence, the monster can move immediately after being summoned to the field. Since there is nothing else left to do this turn, let's end your turn. To end your turn, press start button. Alright, hold on. What'd you say, Azamagia?
Thanks, dude.
Thanks so much for the sub, Team Eradicate. The Jank 3D FM. The VOD is still there if you want to go back in the stream. We beated this stream just a little bit ago, actually. So here's the fun fact. Rebel Wilson, all the monsters that you use will gradually rank up as you use them and develop abilities as Deckmaster. But the process, that sound again, I don't know why or how, by which this happened, is obscenely slow and takes 5 million years for your likely skin ability. There's, however, a special hidden ability that lets you dig up 1 rare card on each character's board. I'll point out what monster uses that ability when we get to it. Also, here's my final gift for now. I don't know what that is. Let me go ahead and copy that somewhere. From this point, it's your opponent's turn. Your opponent is summoning a monster and preparing to attack you. It's your turn. There's an enemy monster headed your way. Let's use the Celtic Guardian to eliminate the threats. To attack your opponent's monster, all you have to do is move your monster onto the space occupied by the enemy monster. A monster attacking another monster is referred to as a battle. The outcome of battle is decided by the attack and defense factors of the respective monsters. Putting the outcome aside, let's attack. Remember how to move your monster? Let's do it. What was that? What the fuck is with the camera angles? You've eliminated your opponent's monster and move 1 space closer to your opponent's leader. However, your opponent is now aware of your monster's strength and will probably bring a more powerful monster into play to retaliate. Now let's take a look at the factors that govern the outcome of battle. Here's how your attack played out. Your Kaiser Dragon was in the attack position. Your monster automatically assumes the attack position whenever it is moved. The attack position indicates that your monster is either moved or attacked. A monster that doesn't move holds its position is said to be in the defense position. Currently, Kaiser Dragon and the opposing Baby Dragon are both in attack position. The outcome of the battle is decided by comparing the strengths of each monster. In this case, both monsters are in the attack position, hence the attack factor of both monsters are compared. The attack of Celtic Guardian is 14. The attack of Baby Dragon is 12. So naturally, sword beats dragon flesh. As a result, the Baby Dragon is eliminated, and the attack difference of 200 is applied as damage against your opponent's life points. Now let's take a look at what might have happened if the opposing monster was stronger. Let's say your opponent had a Kumori Dragon in play, with an attack of 15 or more, is much more powerful than your Celtic Guardian, much more, by 1. When you attack this creature, these camera angles are weird. Your Celtic Guardian is eliminated and you suffer 100 points of damage to your life points. What if the attacks were equal? Let's say a Winged Dragon Guardian of the Forest number 1 with an attack of 1400 is brought into play. What happens? Mutually assured destruction. Both monsters are eliminated, and neither player suffers any damage to their life points. Now let's take a look at defense position. Yawning so much. Hard armor, the monster with a high defense factor. This card is currently horizontal or in the defense position. Monsters set in the defense position cannot move or attack. In battle, the defense of a monster in the defense position is used to decide the outcome. Although the defense of a hard armor is fairly high, it is nothing compared to the attacking Kaiser Guardian. Let's attack the monster. Hard armor is eliminated. Note that limiting a monster in the defense position will not inflict any damage to the player controlling the eliminated monster. Oh, good. I'm yawning a bit. Now let's see what happens if the defending monster is Aquamador. This card has a defense of 2,000. What happens when you attack this monster with a Celtic Guardian? Your attack is countered, and the 600 point difference between the attack of the Celtic Guardian and the defense of the Aquamador is inflicted against your life points. Since your attack failed, your attacking monster is driven back to its original position. What if you attacked a Red Ogre Grotto number 2, whose defense is equal to your monster's attack? Nothing. Though no damage is applied, your life points the monster is forced back to its original position. That concludes our lesson on battle outcomes. Thank fucking God. Let's continue with the duel. As you recall, Celtic Guardian successfully moved to a position where it could attack your opponent's leader. Your opponent's leader is unsupported and defenseless, leaving it wide open for a direct attack. A direct attack is an ideal opportunity to inflict major damage to your opponent's life points. Attacking the leader will result in inflicting LP damage equal to the attacking monster's attack factor. Let's try direct attack. The procedure is the same as setting up a battle between two monsters. Box pronounces red. You know I can't English. You have now inflicted 1,400 damage to your opponent's life points. You're now on the way to victory. As you can see, it is important to avoid direct attacks as much as possible. You should act immediately whenever an enemy monster is approaching your leader. Currently, you're winning. However, your opponent may retaliate. With this in mind, summon a monster with high defense points. Let's use this monster to protect the front of your leader, since it has a high defense place in defense position. Set a monster in defense position, follow the same steps as movement, and set the cursor on your monster card and select it for a move. Now press the L1, R1 buttons to toggle between attack position and defense position. Be careful that you don't move the monster to its destination space, as this will automatically set the monster to its attack position. Note that a monster card summoned on the field is instantly placed in face down and is hidden from your opponent's view. The card will be flipped face up whenever it attacks or is attacked by the enemy. You may manually flip a card face up. To do this, select the card for a move and press L2 or R2 buttons to toggle the card face up or face down. You know, I somehow didn't believe you, Azamagia. I don't know why, but no, you're right. This tutorial is long and kind of a bit boring. Got a class. Thanks for stopping by, Soldier X. See you next time. Once you have the card in the desired position, press the X button to enter your selection. However, you should note that face-up cards cannot be returned to the face-down position. That's why you should be very careful when you manually turn a card face-up. Your opponent has summoned a powerful Kaiser Dragon, a powerful Dragon-type monster. You don't have the monsters that's strong enough to withstand an attack from this creature. Fortunately, you have a magic card on the field that's capable of stopping the attack of Dragon-type monsters. In fact, this magic card is capable of preventing the movement of all Dragon-type monsters on the fields. Permanently spellbinds all Dragon monsters. That is rude. Let's use the magic to stop the opposition and focus on continuing our attack on the opponent's leader. You can trigger the magic card by flipping it face up and completing its move. Flip the card face up in the manner described earlier. The control inputs are the same for magic as those for monsters. Let's try activating a magic card. The opponent's monster has been neutralized with magic spell. Now let's go after the enemy leader. A duel can go either way at times. You may find yourself cornered by a cunning opponent. There will be occasions where there's nothing you can do but accept defeat and go for a rematch. You may surrender a match by pressing the select button. But don't go too quickly. A play card could easily turn the tide of battle in your favor. That concludes our lesson on the fundamentals of how to battle in a duel. My god, that took a hot second. Now let's take a look. Oh my fucking god. Let's take a look at how a duel is settled. There are 4 individual conditions for deciding the outcome of a duel. One condition is to reduce the opponent's life points to 0. Your Kaiser Guardian is about to execute a direct attack on your opponent's leader. Since your opponent only has a life point total of 1,000, the damage you inflict will reduce your opponent's life point to 0. In short, you're about to emerge victorious. Following example is a more complicated situation where the 0 life point condition applies. Okay. In this scenario, the life points of both players are 500 points respectively. Your opponent has a not too powerful needle ball monster in play. However, the monster has special ability. When the monster is eliminated in battle, it automatically inflicts 500 points of damage to an opponent's life points. Strength-wise, the Kaiser Guardian is far stronger than the needle ball. Now let's take a look at what happens when you attack this monster. As you can see, the life points of both players has been reduced to 0. This results in a draw match. In this manner, the outcome of a duel is decided after all triggered effects have been taken into account. Be careful that you don't get dragged into a draw when you have a good chance of winning a match. Another condition that decides the outcome of the duel is occupation of summon areas. The areas indicated in the blue whenever you attempt to summon a monster are called summon areas. All of these areas are occupied by your opponent's forces. You will lose the match. To be more specific, if your opponent occupies all your summon areas at the end of the turn, you lose. If you find yourself surrounded, it is vital that you clear at least one of these areas before your turn is over. If your leader is in the position that leaves you with only 30 spaces available, when you're at the edge like this, there is only a few summon areas. If they are all occupied, you will lose. Depending on the terrain conditions, there are spaces that cannot be used as summon areas. In this situation, there are fewer summon areas, and if they are occupied by your opponent, you will lose. It keeps going. The next condition for deciding the outcome of a duel is LP comparison, resulting from a clock running out on a duel. Wait, there's time limits? The time remaining on a duel is displayed in this location. The number of turns remaining will decrease by 1 following the completion of your turn and that of your opponent's. When the number of turns remaining reaches 0 and both players complete their respective turns, the outcome of the duel will be decided. In this case, the player with the higher number of life points is declared the winner. Hence, maintaining a lead is a key strategy for the smart duelist. The final condition for winning is unleashing the power of Exodia, the Forbidden One. It is said that somewhere in this world there are 5 very rare cards known as Exodia the Forbidden One, and its 4 forbidden limbs. Individually, these cards are weak due to the spells that bind them. However, once spells are broken, an unstoppable force is unleashed. To release Exodia from the bindings, the following steps are required. Exodia the Forbidden One. First, Exodia the Forbidden One must be brought into play as your deck leader. Then you must position all 4 limbs of Exodia in the surrounding summon areas. The legs on top of the arms, though, clearly, and on the wrong sides. Actually, no, wait, they are correct. Left, left, right, right. Never mind. From there, flip over the attacking position where you enter into the turn without any spells or controls preventing you from executing a normal turn. Exodia will be freed, and your opponent will face hopeless defeat at the hands of this awesome creature. This concludes our lesson on victory conditions. And we don't get to see Exodia. Oh my fucking god. Now, let's take a look at some of the other details and rules for dueling. First, you should be aware that there is a limited number of cards that can be placed on the field. I regret so much. However, in a situation where several monsters have been summoned on the field, this display shows how many monsters you have in play in the field at the moment. Each duelist can only place 5 monsters respectively on the field. Any attempt to summon a monster that exceeds the aforementioned limits will result in the summoned monster being reduced to dust. Likewise, only 5 spell cards can be placed on the field. You should take care to leave a summon area open so you won't find yourself in a situation where you're unable to play a key card. Now, let's talk about the consumption and recovery of summoning power points. Oh my fucking god! Summoning power points are required in order to summon a monster to the field. At the onset of a duel, each duelist has a summoning power has 4 summoning power points. Hence, bring a level 4 monster into play at the start of the duel. We use up the total available summoning power points for that turn. Summoning power points spent in this manner will gradually recover as time passes. At the beginning of your turn, 3 points will be added. Points that are not expended will continue to accumulate. However, you will not be able to accumulate over 12 points. In every situation where the addition of points would exceed 12 points, you will not go beyond the amount. Some monsters or spell cards can significantly help or hinder recovery of summoning power points. Use these to your best advantage. Now, let's talk about spell cards and what happens in battle. When placed face down and unused, your opponent will not be able to tell whether you have a spell card or a monster card in play. Like monster cards, spell cards can be attacked and can initiate attacks. The face down monster card is yours. Your opponent has a spell card. When a spell card is attacked by a monster, it will be easily destroyed. Although a spell card can be easily destroyed, attacking a spell card will never result in damage to your opponent's life points. Now you have a face down monster card. In monster vs. monster battles, face down monsters were turned face up. Here's what happens when spell cards attack. As you can see, the spell card is destroyed, but the monster card remains face down. As a result, spell cards cannot be used to discover the identity of a monster card. The only way to do that is to attack it with a monster card. Alright. Now, let's see what happens when a spell card is used to initiate an attack. It dies. Similar to when it is attacked, the spell card is easily destroyed. This is still the case even if the monster card is in a defense position. The spell card is destroyed. Let's see what happens when you use a spell card to initiate an attack against an opponent's face-down monster. Although it can't be verified, the card being attacked is a face-down monster card. As in the previous case where the monster card attacked and destroyed the spell card, the monster card remains face down. You should always remember that although spell cards are capable of powerful magic, they can easily be destroyed. When you bring a spell card into play, you should move it carefully. Now let's take a look at what happens when your spell card attacks an opponent's spell card. The rules differ from those applied when battling a monster card. First, let's see what happens when you attack an opponent's spell card with a face-down spell card. In this case, the attack spell card is destroyed, and the attacking spell card succeeds in penetrating your opponent's defense. Initiating an attack with a face-down spell card will let you avoid having the card turn face up when you wish to avoid it. The fundamental rule is that a spell card cannot turn an opposing spell card face up in battle. Let's see what happens when a face-up spell card attacks an opposing spell card. This time, the spell card is activated. It's important to remember the conditions for activating a magic card. A magic card is activated when it completes its move face up. Hence, regardless of whether a battle occurs, the magic card is activated since it completed its move face up. As a result, you should be careful about moving face-up spell cards. Now we'll discuss terrain effects, because of course there fucking are. The fields on which battle is conducted consists of spaces with various terrain features. The majority of these terrain features have their own unique energy force and often strengthen or weaken a monster. Let's take a look at an example. Game, I'm so sorry, whatever I had to offend you, but I did not sign up for a fucking lecture. Right now, the Celtic Guardian is in a space where the terrain has no effect whatsoever on the card. Those that both the attack and defense are the exact same. Now let's move on to a meadow. In this space, the attack and defense factors increase by 500, so 1917 respectively. Since the Celtic Guardian is a warrior-type monster, it has the advantage when occupying meadow terrain. In this manner, whenever a monster is in a favored terrain, 500 points are added. Another bonus when a monster is in its favorite terrain is increased movement. Monster starts its move in favorable terrain. The monster can move up to 2 spaces. Monster card with increased movement capabilities are noted in this area. Terrain up and movement, yeah. And a monster with its mark is toggled to movement mode. The card's increased movement area is displayed in this manner. Please note that face down cards is not awarded terrain bonus because they technically can't be identified. It's kind of cut the guardians in face down. Let's start moving the card. Only one. Yes, we know. If you flip it face up, though, it's revealed and you get its bonus movements. You can see that as long as the card is face up, the movement bonus can be used. Hence, to take advantage of this movement bonus, you must first turn the cards face up and then select the space you wish to move. Wait, what did you say, Lamagia? There's an element system in game? So when you can destroy monsters like normally during something, having like fire monster destroy a water monster, will make the fire monster be paralyzed for a bit. Why the fuck? Why is that so just... Magic track repetitions do matter. For example, if your enemy uses Mirror Force and it destroys everything you have in attack position, it includes your spell and traps. Damn. Alright. This time we have a dark terrain space. Megami is a fairy type which is not suited for dark terrain. When not affected by the terrain, it's 18 to 11 respectively. Now let's move the terrain. Let's move to where it doesn't want to go. It gets decreased attack by 500, but no movement difficulties. On the subject of terrain effects, let's talk about the terrain with special features. First, Labyrinth Wall. Labyrinth is an extremely powerful obstruction and cannot be entered by most monsters and spell cards, nor by a leader card. Labyrinth land space cannot function as a summoning area. However, a card that has entered a labyrinth space by means of effects such as teleportation can easily exit the space and enter adjacent spaces. You can also initiate an attack against a monster located on a labyrinth space. Wall Shadow has the ability to freely exist or exit the labyrinth space. It is currently located on the labyrinth space. Space Swordsman has an attack capability that exceeds Wall Shadows. Now what happens when the Flame Swordsman attacks a monster located in the labyrinth space? Probably we beat it and that's it. Yep, we beat it, but we can't go into the labyrinth space. Crush terrain can be entered with no resistance and has no positive or negative effects on the most monsters. However, the area is infected with a plague that will attack and destroy powerful monsters. Specifically, any monster with an attack of 1500 or more will be immediately destroyed under any one of the following conditions. A monster is summoned in the crushed space, moves into a crushed space, is located in a space that is transformed into a crushed space, or is in a crushed space when either you or your opponent's turn ends. Since Celtic Guardian only has the 14, it's not affected by Crush. On the other hand, Flame Swordsman is. Don't be stupid. The effect of a crush space is deadly. However, there is no restrictions to exiting crush space and entering an adjacent space. There's a secret arcade in this game called Immortal Monsters. Regardless of attack points, these monsters aren't destroyed by crush. Get a Fiend Power bonus and leave crush panels also leave crush panels whenever they die. Weird. In short, if you find your monsters moved into a crush space by means such as teleportation, you can avoid destruction by immediately moving out of the space. This crush card is activated only if they have more attack and if they are left there. Layer doesn't have attack and spells don't either. Oh my fucking god, we're talking Spellbinding now. Spellbinding is a condition by which a card is unable to move as a result of a spell or other means. When a card is spellbound, it cannot be moved, flipped, or repositioned for attack or defense. That's what happens when Celtic Guardian spellbound. Another bot. Nice, something actually exciting. I gotta report it as well. Submit report, lock the user, and move on with my day. Okay. I'm starting to regret hitting the tutorial thing so much. Right now, the Celtic Guardian is unable to move due to a spell. The turn count for spellbinding begins on the turn following the actual casting of the spell. So if a card is spellbound for one turn, it won't be able to move in the next turn and regains movement on the turn following the next. There are situations in which a spellbinding can last more than one turn. In fact, there is a very dangerous condition, internal spellbinding, which doesn't release the bound card no matter how many turns it may pass. At that moment, Celtic Guardian is held in internal spellbinding. Under this condition, the Celtic Guardian will not be able to move no matter how many times you declare an attack. Come on. You declare the turn has ended. Instead of the number of turns remaining, units card display move infinity mark is displayed there. Yep. It is very difficult to break in eternal spellbinding. There are only a few monsters and spells that can have the capability to free a spellbound monster. As from the aforementioned, the only other way to free a spellbound monster from spellbinding is to destroy it. Let's take out the most common form of spellbinding, the attribute binding. I'm so sorry, game. I did not actually want to go to a fucking lecture in college about this one PS2 game. The Kaiser Dragon is a wind attribute monster with an attack of 2000. It is much stronger than the Celtic Guardian. However, the Celtic Guardian is an earth attribute monster, which places it in a more favorable position against wind attribute monsters. The advantages and disadvantages of attributes are displayed respectively during the battle. What happens when he attacks? The weaker Celtic Guardian is destroyed, however, the opposing Kaiser Dragon is now spellbound for one turn. In this manner, the monster of lower attribute that survives a battle is spellbound during the turn that follows. Okay. It applies even if both monsters survive, in case of defense stuff. Entry difference can be effective when using weaker monsters to render a stronger monster immobile. An opponent's powerful monster is in pursuit. You don't have any surprise up your sleeve, and your leader is isolated, creating a dangerous situation. Even under such desperate circumstances, a good duelist will bide for time, believing in a summoned monster and the chance of drawing a card that could turn the tide of battle. The belief is the luck of the draw could be the key to winning a battle. There's the belief referred to as destiny draw. Depending on how desperate the situation is and how gifted you are the duelist, you may be granted the opportunity to attempt a destiny draw. Hold up. Got something on my phone. Looks like victory may smile on you. This is your chance to draw the card that could turn the tables against your enemy. The destiny draw opportunity is signaled by flashing the area that is normally used to indicate you can summon a monster from your hands. During when this condition is indicated, will usually result in the drawing of a card that will help you in your current predicaments. Try drawing. Look at that last card that you drew. A card on the far right. It should be a card that will bail you out of your current situation. Using this card wisely will help you overcome your desperate situation. However, you should remember that a destiny draw depends on luck and only occurs once in a duel. When it might happen is anybody's guess. All you can hope for is that Lady Luck smiles on you when you most need it. And that won't happen if your hand already consists of 5 cards. If that is the case, all you need to do is reduce your hand in the following turn in hopes of triggering a destiny draw. Of course, if your deck is low on cards, there will be no quote-unquote destiny draw. Luck is an important element to victory. Even the best duelists could lose without the with the Lady Luck. I can't English. All cards are deeply bound to the duelist. Your experience is a vital key to the strengthening power of your deck. An indication of this is proved by the rank, a record of a card's performance throughout all your duels. A highly ranked card will demonstrate the special powers unique to its nature when the card becomes the leader. Take a look at Dark Magician, ranked Fiend Marshal. That's what SD means, of course. At this rank, this card's special powers are extended support range, increased strength of same type friendlies, and weaken specific enemy types. Take a look at your opponent's leader. Baby Dragon has the following special powers: increased movement and open opponent's card. Since there are various special powers that evolve for each leader's monster, we won't be able to cover them all. Thank fucking God. Forgot the start of it already, I know, right? To understand the concept, let's take a look at the Baby Dragon situation. The best way to learn about the special powers of a card is to raise your own leaders and watch it evolve through the course of battle. I'm yawning so much. Ugh. Baby Dragon has the power to turn any approaching enemy card face up for open viewing. The Celtic Guardian is currently face down and near the enemy's leader. Move the card towards the leader. Celtic Guard is automatically turned face up, revealing its identity to your opponents. Deck will also flip up face down spell cards to the face up position. This is just a sample of one of the special powers that the leaders have. To find out more, you will simply have to raise your own leader and watch the card evolve. Oh my God, we reached the end! First, Reb, you must select a deck to duel with. Why did you do that to me, sir? It is important that you feel the vibrations of the deck of a deck leader. The minute restorations that ring, resonations that ring, true to your soul. The cards themselves draw their power from the energies of the Ancient One. The deck leader acts as an intermediate between the Ancient One and the deck wielder. Rep, it is essential that you select a card leader whose rhythm matches the stirrings. I can't read. After how long I've had to read a fucking tutorial. There are several decks from which to choose. Give it some serious thought. You may and make a selection. Choose carefully, for the deck you select will guide the destiny of your duel. Okay, what the fuck are these options? Gotta wake up. Tutorial's done. Yeah. Alright, first is Fairy Kingdom Truesdale, then Patriarch of Darkness, and then Twin-Headed Behemoth. 326, 329, 328. Technically, this has the most attack by 0.01. Main attributes. That's Dark and Earth, I believe. Dark, Earth, Wind, and Light. And this is Dark, Earth, Dark, Water, and Wind. I can't fucking aim. I think it would probably go well with the Fairy King Truesdale deck. All you guys are giving me different ones. Azamagia says Fairy King. Angelo says the zombie one, which I think is this one. And then Minus says Twin Heads, the legacy of the twin-headed. I made a terrible mistake. I made a terrible mistake starting this game and selecting the fucking tutorial. Closing my eyes and just gonna press right. Now that I know that it's cycles. And let's see where we land, alright? And then switch directions. Mix it up. And back. And forward and back. I just would stop. Fuck it. There, whatever it is. Okay, Fairy King. I kept on to like fucking around like you did left, right, but it's 3 cards. I can only mix it so much. Alright. Fairy King it is then. Excellent, then do it. Enter, fine. I see you have selected your deck. So that's the effect of the Celtic's red rose cards. Looks like there's some truth to the rumors that red rose cards are capable of time transformation. Who's there? Hey, Seto! It's been some time since the Battle of Barnet, old one. Golden Cruz, what brings you here? Only a member of the Rose Crusaders may call me by that name. As, if you may recall, I told you once before that you may only address me as Seto. Or does memory fail you, old man? In this game you can get 2 to 3 cards per duel? Nice! Maybe grinding won't be that bad. But it depends if the duel itself is going to be, like, long as fuck. And you must be the dreaded Rose Duelist. I must admit, there's a certain aura of power emanating from you. I believe introduction is in order. I am Seto, leader of the Rose Crusaders. They are members of our little crew who prefer to call me the name of C. Rosencruz. Ask again, what brings you here, Seto? Mind your manners, old man. What else would bring me here? I've come for the rose cards, for the red rose cards. After all, it was you who showed me how summon capabilities would evolve what the red rose cards are, combined with the transport powers of the white rose cards. You aren't thinking of attempting the forbidden rose summoning. If so, then the red rose cards must never fall into your evil hands. Card sorcery taps into the powers of the ancient ones. By their very nature, each card is a double-edged sword that can cut both ways. Those cards alone harness tremendous power. There's no telling what horrors one might unleash to the world by combining both the red and white. I'll sacrifice my own life if need to prevent any from uttering the spell of doom. Spell of doom? Fool. 16 red and white rose cards are grant power over all. Druid legend has twisted the true meaning of these cards. We Rose Crusaders have sworn to create a utopia free from the ravages of war. We intend to accomplish this with the power of the cards. And we shall do so by extending the rule of Richard III throughout the known world. By the way, it was clever of you to form a circle of red roses within the white rose berry to summon the rose duelist. But you were foolish to come alone. This area is surrounded, and if you wish to leave with your life, you will do so only by handing over the red rose cards. Me a fool? Then what about you? Are you fool enough to actually believe the red rose cards would remain here in my possession? Right after summoning, I had the cards dispersed among our best duelists to keep them from you. Tainted hands. And you'll leave me with but one option. I shall enlist the aid of your precious rose duelist. Take leave of your senses. And you speak too soon, old man. Heed my words, duelist. If you wish to return to your proper time period, you require 16 cards of the red and white roses. The red and white positions must be laid out in reverse of the summoning in order to send you home. You know the spell? Since you need the 16 rose cards just as much as we do, I propose a partnership. Help us gather the cards, and I shall guarantee your return after we've achieved our ultimate goal. An absurd proposal! Do you think that the Honorable Reb would ever lend an ear to your ridiculous proposal? Can you be so sure, old man? Let me see. Simon's side has 8 of the red rose cards, while my side, North Crusaders, has possession of the 8 white rose cards. As the numbers are even, simple arithmetic indicates that you could side with either of us. But I'm sure you'll take into account who's winning this war, after all. Who's desperate enough to summon you in the first place. I think it's quite clear which side is better positioned to send you home. Reb, heed not the words of this power-hungry lunatic. Simon, must you resort to name-calling? I'm hurt. I'll tell you what. We don't need leave. Why don't we leave the decision to our dear duelist? After all, Simon, the duelist's future is not for us to decide now, is it? Well, yes, but... Splendid! In keeping with the tradition of the old temple gardens, I offer you a choice, duelist. Here are 2 roses. The white represents me, the red for the old Simon here. For the sake of justice, choose the red one! Stand by my side, duelist. Choose the white rose. Alright, let me get the coin. Actually, I'm also curious. Which one do you guys think I should do? While I go get the coin real quick. coin agrees. It's technically not the coin of fate. It's a different coin I have. It's a, technically a Bitcoin, a physical Bitcoin. Little metal thing with a Bitcoin symbol on it. So let's see. Actually, hold on, so this big B symbol will be Yorksis. The one on the other side will be the Lancaster. I agreed with you. How disappointing. Oh well, you made your choice, and I respect that. For now, I will guarantee your safe passage until you've met with Yugi. After all, I don't want our little game to end too quickly. That wouldn't be sporting. Decide with Yorksis on game 1 you're gonna have a harder time? Really? Weird. I look forward to the day when we meet again, Duelist. Until then.